Welcome back to Gran Jaimito in the Pedroche Valley of Andalusia, Spain. We are having a stretch of rain without end. Rain and more rain. It seems that nature wants to give us all the rain that we have not gotten in the recent past. Cameras don't like the rain, so I can only show you the result, but not while it's raining. With the rain that came down earlier today, this seasonal creek has now filled up and it's a little bit overflowing, but it's only a little bit. And this water is basically from the catchment on our own land. I very much doubt that there is more on the other side, but let's check it out. So I'm going over there to see how it looks like. So another detail, especially for the old-timers who have been thinking about this creek a lot. As you can see, it is full, and then here on that side you can see that there's also a puddle. And what I can tell you is that over here, from that tiny little hill that the neighbor has on his land, that is where a lot of water used to come down. So I assume this is still the case. The water seeps through below the stone wall there and then finds its way into this part of the seasonal creek. But as I promised a minute ago, I will now go to the other end and check that out. So here we are on the other end, and as you can see, it is dry. So a lot of us have been thinking that this creek fills up based on the catchment area over there, and it looks like, by looking at the stones, that is where the case. But apparently it's not. We had a lot of downpours and heavy downpours this morning. It just stopped an hour ago, and you can see there's nothing. So that is not where the water comes from. Of course, there is a little bit that has accumulated, but this must be from over there. And of course, directly from the sky. So this is mostly water that came from the left side, from the neighbor, as I described earlier. So it's not that this is the source. It used to be at some point, probably, but right now we can't say that this is where the water comes. And therefore all these very nice and good suggestions, and I do appreciate all that thinking that you guys have been doing to create some leaky weirs and other forms of water control features in here. They would not help, because the situation here is different. This is very short, and it's not that we have running water inside of this. So if we were to put something in there, it would not do anything, because there is no running water coming from that direction. So I hope that this is helpful. But in any case, we do have plans to put additional plants here, vetiver and trees, just because the area lends itself to it. But that is for a later time, when we can afford to spend effort on that. But we will. This is certainly something. And it's mostly for the look. It's not that it really makes a big difference in the overall effort. But it's an important thing, and I do like to have this at some point. Allow me to introduce you to our shop. It is located at our website caimito.eu. One of the products is the world-famous Iberian ham. After preparation in the butcher shop, it is kept in a huge amount of salt for a while and then hung from the ceiling in climate-controlled ripening chambers for 3 to 5 years, depending on the size of the ham. People either buy a whole leg, which is between 6 and 10 kilos, or hand-cut slices that are vacuum-sealed in 100-gram pouches. As you can see in many of our videos, our pigs fatten themselves on acorns running around the land. The acorns give the ham a very nutty flavor, and after you took a bite, that flavor stays in the mouth for a while, just like with a good wine. After the big rain, the animals are now here in this area. This morning we had them in the lower part of B1. They had been grazing there, and also it rained heavily on their backs, but they don't mind. And now we have them here in this much smaller area for the rest of the day. The bellies should be full, because in the other area there was a lot more of forage. And yesterday we had them up there in this area, which is A9, that also had seen a lot of good growth. And I wanted to show you what has happened here. So this is the area where the pigs had uprooted and where also a lot of seed were brought out. So these depressions, they are now full. So that is exactly what we expected and wanted. And with some luck I can show you, oh yeah, right here. So here you might be able to see a few leaves that are new from the seed that we brought out. Also in there, in that hole. So there you can see it. That is from the seeding that we did. And the pigs helped us to put the seed into the soil. And there is more if you look very closely here at the edge. So seeding with the help of pigs does work. It might not be perfect, it might not be as well distributed as by using mechanical tools, but it costs nothing. So this is definitely a good thing. I will now walk over there to the left to show you the growth from the other technique. So here I am. This was seeded 2 weeks earlier, and we used a rake, as you might remember from an earlier video, to bury the seed. These plants have gotten some frost a few times, but they don't seem to mind. And they are growing, of course, with more sunshine and a little bit higher temperature. It certainly would grow a lot faster, but it works. And where we used the straw to cover it, it also came up very nicely. And if I show you a little bit in the distance and pan over, you will see that this all is greening up. And we will have a lot of cabbage, turnip and daikon radish in here. We will see how that will develop. And once there is enough, we then let in the bovines to eat the leaves, and the pigs in a second stage to take care of the roots. And then we do it all over again. This area will see a lot more agricultural activity in the near future. Our plan is to seed and harvest with the help of the animals all year around. So we need to learn about agriculture.